Grab your cup. Earlier this week in a coaching call, we were working on anger and triggers. And I want to share with you what we came up with to help you in your life if you're dealing with anger issues and or is this really a trigger? So there's kind of a little rule of thumb I can give you. But first I just want to define triggers in case you have never thought of them this way. So you may realize that certain things trigger you. People, situations, I get triggered around this person all the time. Oh, whenever this happens, I get so triggered. Or you maybe have said to somebody, you're really triggering me right now. Like it's their fault. They're doing something. You're triggering me. Triggers are always 100% of the time about something inside of us that is still unresolved, still unhealed. It's some sort of old messaging, old wounding that is getting recalled. It's getting tapped on, like tapping something on the shoulder. Hey, it's getting tapped on, and that's causing the trigger. Even if you think of a gun, right, that has a trigger, the trigger is the tiniest little part. So the action or what the person is saying is the tiny part. The part that's really explosive is the like the gunpowder in the gun, the ammunition that's sitting there waiting to be triggered, waiting to be tapped on. So in us, what's really explosive is the unhealed memory of an earlier thing that happened, the unresolved issue that we've held inside. That's the trigger. So in this coaching call, we wanted to look at anger. Am I angry right now at something someone did, or am I being triggered? And she was really certain that she was validly angry now. So here's a rule of thumb, and there's always exceptions to rules, right? I'm sure. But I think this could help you in your life if you can look at triggers as an opportunity. If you can distinguish it as a trigger and not just, this is how I'm emotionally reacting because this person was wrong, shouldn't have done that, all the things. So now I have this reaction, but I'm actually being triggered. If you can distinguish that, then you can see triggers as an opportunity to go to work on what's there in you, which brings so much more peace than constantly reacting, having explosive, to use the gun analogy, explosive reactions to what other people do. So anger, which is what she was feeling first, and also anger is something that you want to be clear. I'm feeling angry. You want to allow yourself to process anger and feel it. So many people think anger is bad or wrong. Anger is a boundary. Anger is, hey, you don't get to do that. That's not okay with me. And then take action based on the anger, right? But we were looking at, is this appropriate anger for this situation, or is it actually a trigger? So the rule of thumb that I would say could be helpful for you is what is happening right now harmful to me? Then anger is appropriate. That's what we have anger for, to stop something from harming us. Could be physical harm. Somebody's holding you, restraining you. You get angry, and that generates enough energy to break away. It could be a different kind of harm, like a betrayal. You're married to someone and they cheat on you. That's appropriate anger. You did something and it directly impacts my safety or my trust. It's not okay with me because it impacts me. In this issue, what we saw is that her anger was actually a trigger. She thought it was appropriate anger, but it was actually a trigger because the thing that she was angry about were choices and actions taken by someone else that did not harm her. She just had a judgment about it. She had a judgment of, hey, you shouldn't do that. And we constantly, think about, you might have somebody that you work with and you look over at them and you're working really hard and they're not. And you get angry about it. But them not working hard is not impacting you. You just have a judgment about it. You're angry. And it's really an expectation on someone else and a judgment. So that is more of a trigger. It's not appropriate anger for you to have because nothing's happening to you. Do you get what I'm saying? So when we looked and she saw that was a trigger, and some of the words that can help you figure that out are, how dare they? That was like a kick in the teeth after all I've done. So with the work analogy, I work so hard, they don't. Or I work so hard in this relationship and they go and they didn't betray you, but they don't work as hard. They kind of do their own thing and you're working to get recognition and to create a different relationship, and they keep doing their own thing. What's really there is a trigger of I'm not important, I don't matter, something like that, something along those lines. Because when we have those kinds of judgments about what other people do, it's triggering something in us that we want to take a look at. So I hope that's helpful. Is this thing actually harming me, or is it that I have a judgment that I'm placing on it? Is it that I have an expectation about how someone else should be and they're not being that way? And then what's under that? What am I telling myself because of that? Am I saying, in her case, she was saying, I don't matter, I'm not important. And when we looked, that was a common thread throughout her whole life. We could go all the way back to high school and see how I keep working hard and things don't work out. I keep working hard and that person doesn't give the same effort back. So it is a common thread, which is another indication that it's a trigger that's still showing up. Once she doesn't have the trigger of I don't matter, I'm not important, she's not going to react in the same way. And neither will you, okay? So triggers keep us off kilter, upset, having reactions and emotions all the time that we don't need to have. Life could be so much more peaceful. So if you see that your triggers are a problem and you would like to get some handle on that, put trigger in the comments just to start to recognize, hey, I have stuff that I haven't worked on. I haven't done the inner work to heal those triggers and I'm reacting, but now I'm aware. Just go ahead and acknowledge that. And then you start to make a difference in your life. Okay? Have a good day.